Hello, my fellow Americans. It's the 13th of November, 2024, and this is A Quiet Rage. Once again, I don't have a whole lot for our Trump voting friends, except to say this. We on the left, we that did not vote for Trump, we that wanted Harrison Walls, that voted for Harrison Walls, the reason that we're so shocked, the reason that we just can't seem to find the words, is because honestly, in my case, and in the case of some other people that I've talked to, granted that's anecdotal, anyway, some of us, thought most of you, frankly, were better than this. I mean, you voted for a racist, a misogynist, a man who has bragged about sexually assaulting women. You can do it if you're famous. You just walk right up to him. You voted for that. Convicted of 43 felonies already. Charged with 91 felonies total. He was keeping highly classified documents in a bathroom. Okay, Joe Biden had classified documents at his house. What did he do when asked about it? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I had these. Here, take them back. He didn't put them on an airplane and fly them anyway. That's all I have to say to you. Again, for you protest voters, for you third-party voters, I'm not ready to talk to you quite yet. I do have thoughts. We'll get there. I'm thinking maybe an entire episode for you. But anyway, to my lefty friends, to my Harrison Walls hopefuls, you saw I took down my Harris Walls sign. I left it up for a week. You'll notice also, though, that I left the I'm a veteran, not a sucker or a loser sign. That one's staying up. These Trump cultists are going to drive around with their flags and their bumper stickers. There are people on my street that still have their Trump signs in their yards. They've taken down all the other candidate signs, the sheriff and the representative and senator. They've taken those down, but the Trump signs are still up. So I'm keeping that's my middle finger, and I'm keeping it up. Do you have a plan? Did you find your people? I hope so. My plan is this. This is I'm gonna. It's not just this, but this is where it's gonna start. And I did some research, and I've got some things to talk about. I will put links to everything in the description, so you don't to make it easy for you. I got my tabs here. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU.org, is an organization which has already been instrumental in lobbying to get there was a bill that was being voted on in the House yesterday. Anyway, very recently. That would have, if it had passed, would have given the ability for the president to designate, I don't have all the details, I need to look into it more, but anyway, it would have made it easier for a president to designate nonprofit organizations as terrorist groups in some cases. That vote failed. That will not happen. That is not going to be a thing. So something good has already happened. But the ACLU, right on their front website, so you can You can donate. They've got things where you can take action, but right there on the front page, they have their playbook for Trump 2.0. We all know that Project 2025, as much as they tried to distance themselves from it, of course, as soon as he won, the idiots came out of the woodwork and said, well, let's just admit that it was the policy all along. Anyway, so people with more patience than I have read through this entire document, and they are ready. They're ready to go. If he tries to pull any bullshit, they're ready to fight it. And it talks about there were 400 different policies that he tried to bring in last time that they fought against. And so they're ready. They got their ducks in a row. If that's a place you can find good news, it's something you can donate to. I would recommend that. I've already had people try and gaslight me. Say no, he's not going to try and erase trans people. Yes, he is. In one of his Agenda 47 videos, which he stands in front of a camera himself, says right to the camera, he wants to have every government document, every federal government document have only male and female genders listed. He wants everything else removed, and only the gender that you are assigned at birth to be used in a government document of any sort. So we know where he's going to start. So to fight against that, GLAAD, GLAAD.org, is an organization that champions LGBTQIA plus, champions their causes, their equal rights, and you can sign up for a newsletter. There's things you can. There's many different categories: politics, assisting LGBTQ youth in finding community, military, transgender, aging, legal. There's good stuff, and again, I'll put the link in there. So I recommend going there. So I heard about this one listening to NPR a couple of days ago. There is an organization called With Honor, and their website is withhonor.org. And their push is to get more people who have served in the military elected to Congress, and to have them, to encourage them to have a place where they can gather together, caucus, and serve in Congress, serve in the Senate, in a similar fashion to the way they served in the military, which is, yeah, you got people that you disagree with. I know this very well. I did 20 years in the military. I may look at this. But so for me, my 20 years, I was a submarine sailor, a sonar technician specifically. So we would spend 6 or 8 hours in a shack with 4 other guys. I only served with male crews. The integration happened midway through my career, but I never served with any women. You're stuck there, and you have to keep yourself awake because you're in a dark room watching green screens that are waterfalling and practically pulling your eyelids shut. So any conversation is a good conversation, because if your mouth is moving, you're less likely to fall asleep. And it helps that you have a common goal, which is tracking the contacts, getting the ship out to sea, getting the ship on mission, doing the mission, whatever it is, loading weapons, field day, whatever it is. You have, in the military, you have a common goal, and you overcome your differences to achieve that goal. And that was the brief part of the story on NPR that I heard. That was what With Honor is trying to achieve. Getting a group of people with a common background, military, to work together to actually achieve something, rather than sniping at each other on sound bites on the evening news. Anyway, so withhonor.org, and like I said, that's something I'm going to dig into a little more. So another thing that Trump has said in one of his Agenda 47 videos, talking about education, he wants to dismantle the Department of Education, which, if you go to the Department of Education website, well, here, I have it up. It tells you. Here it is, right there on their website. Federal role in education. This is, if any of you right-wingers are still watching. Education is primarily a state and local responsibility in the United States. It is states and communities, as well as public and private organizations of all kinds, that establish schools and colleges, develop curricula, and determine requirements for enrollment and graduation. You know what the Department of Education does? Funding. They fund schools that need help. So we're going to dismantle that. So that's great. That's going to, yeah. Good job, Donald. Anyway, so one of the things that that President-elect Trump wants to do is bring back prayer into schools. I assure you, it's not going to be Hindu prayer. It's not going to be Muslim prayer. It's not going to be Jewish prayers. It's going to be Christian prayers. I guarantee you he couldn't recite the Lord's Prayer. Even if you put it in front of him, he wouldn't be able to tell you what it means. I mean, this man thought that 2 Corinthians was spoken to Corinthians, because he's not a religious person at all. He lied. He's a liar. Anyway, so if you want to fight against things like that, if you want to be aware of things like that, to know where the fight is, what we're up against, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, ffrf.org, is a good place to go to find that kind of stuff. And if you just kind of want to be cheeky, if you want to have shirts like this that are kind of fun, there is a company from my home state of Iowa called Raygun Site, RAYGUNSITE.com, and their front page is all t-shirts that say things like, "Hey, I didn't vote for him," or this one I will have to get. It says simply, "I dissent," which, by the way, dissent is patriotic. Don't forget that. And they have one that says Female Rage 24, which yeah. Anyway, so they got some good stuff. Yeah. As I said, I'm gonna look into the With Honor thing. I want to get more involved. I'm gonna have something for you next week about possibly getting tickets to the inauguration, getting reserved tickets, and then just not showing up or going anywhere else in the world. Yeah, so look for that next week. Again, if you found something that you want to let people know about, make sure to put it in the comments. I already got into a fight with somebody. Not really a fight. I got into a discussion with somebody in the comments. I'm sure more of that will happen. Which actually reminds me of the other thing I wanted to say, which is for your own sanity, because you're going to have these conversations. It's going to be unavoidable. Thanksgiving is coming up, so try to keep it civil at Thanksgiving, as hard as that's going to be, possibly with some families. But anyway, if you're not already, familiarize yourself with logical fallacies, and try to identify when your debate partner, your opponent, is using logical fallacies, and call them out. Be respectful. Let's try not to stoop to their level. Also, just pick your battles. It's been used on me. I've used it on other people. But they're arguing with some people is like trying to play chess against a pigeon. They don't understand the rules. They don't care. They're going to walk all over the board, knock over all the pieces, and shit on it, and strut around like they won. So pick your battles, but also familiarize yourself with logical fallacies. Because people that use logical fallacies are not worthy of your time. And it's good to know them yourself so you don't fall into that trap. I mentioned before, I was giving you anecdotal information. I don't have any numbers, I don't have any graphs or charts, just telling you from my experience. And while there is value to that, anecdotal evidence can only get you so far. Anyway, this isn't a class about debates or logical fallacies. Just saying. Familiarize yourself with that and watch out for them. I have told people a couple of times now, if you want to have this conversation, I'm happy to do it. But we're going to stay on topic, and you're not going to use, and neither of us is going to use logical fallacies. If you do, I will nope right out of this conversation. And then they get mad when I'm like, yeah, see what you did there was a straw man or a red herring or a appeal to authority, whatever it may be. Don't do that. And then do it again. They do it again, and I'm like, all right, bye, deuces. Anyway. Look for the good things out there, too. I forget what state, might have been Delaware. Anyway, our next Congress is going to have our first openly transgender representative in the House. So there's progress right there. And in all places, the city of Lexington, Kentucky, elected the first transgender woman to the city council I think. So we didn't lose across the board in this election. We lost big. We didn't lose everywhere. There are still good things happening out there, and good things will continue to happen. So keep that quiet rage. Look for the good things. Don't argue with people who don't know how to actually have a debate. And take a look at one or more of the links that I'm going to put in there in the description. And again, if you've got anything to add, anything you think I should shout out next week, make sure to put it in the comments. Yeah, that's all I got. Good night, America.